Discover the incredible journey of 12 Forgotten Wings, a heartwarming tale of life-changing transformation. The sun poured golden light over Maplewood, Kansas, highlighting the charming little bakery that was Mia's heart and soul. Inside, the scent of freshly baked bread danced in the air, wrapping around her like a comforting hug. Mia, with her flour-dusted hands and disheveled apron, stood behind the counter. At 34, she wore the weight of her struggles like a badge of honor, fighting to keep Mia's bakery alive for her spirited 7-year-old daughter, Lily. Some days felt heavier than others, especially when she heard whispers about how her little shop might soon crumble under the weight of a corporate giant looming on the horizon. Each morning, as she kneaded dough, she could almost hear the laughter of her late parents echoing through the walls. Their spirits fueled her resilience, their dreams intertwined with every bun and pastry she crafted. Yet, as the weeks wore on, and the cost of flour soared, shadows of doubt crept in. Her neighbors' glances turned anxious, planting seeds of worry in her heart. But in walked Mr. Thompson, his silver hair shining like a beacon of hope. His presence lightened the heavy air, his stories of bravery and community service overflowing like the incredible pastries he often devoured. Mia, he'd say, a bakery isn't just about bread, it's about memories, connections. Each conversation reminded her of why she put in the long hours day after day. Then came the slick corporate representative, a smooth-talking man in a crisp suit who strutted into her bakery with a shark-like grin. The promises poured out like syrup: wealth, ease, and lavish perks if she'd sell out. Imagine doing what you love without the struggle. He chirped, his words smooth as butter. Mia's heart raced. Could she trade her legacy for a life free of worry? As she wrestled with temptation, she stumbled upon a dusty old box hidden in the back of the bakery. Inside, she found letters tied with a faded ribbon, revealing a secret her parents had kept. The bakery was not just a place for dough, it was the cornerstone of a local initiative that fostered dreams for at-risk youth. These lost wings had the power to inspire hope, to uplift a community that seemed to be fraying at the edges. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With a fire igniting deep in her belly, Mia knew she had to do more than just save her bakery. She reached out to her neighbors, reviving old friendships and rallying the community to stand firm against the cold corporate tide. The spark of unity that ignited pooled with their shared fears, old grievances resurfaced like an unpleasant specter. But just as their hopes began to form a bond, a shocking event unfolded, unraveling the threads of their newfound solidarity. Mia found herself standing at a crossroads, uncertainty hanging like a shroud. Would the town unite to defend their legacy? Or would the echoes of doubt drown out their ambitions? As the sun dipped below the horizon, shrouding the bakery in twilight, she took a deep breath and prepared for the fight of a lifetime, questioning whether the community's heart was still capable of revitalization. The next morning, the chill in the air matched the uncertainty that settled in Mia's heart. Word had gotten around about the corporate threat. By breakfast, the bakery was much quieter than usual. The regulars still trickled in, but their smiles felt strained, burdened by the whispers that surrounded them. Mia served each cup of coffee and pastry with a warm smile, trying to ignore the tightness in her chest. Lily sat at a corner table, coloring quietly. Her colorful drawings brought life to the otherwise somber bakery. "Look, Mommy," she beamed, showing colors gleaming with innocence and dreams. But the sight of her daughter's joy only deepened Mia's resolve. This place was more than just a shop, it was a nest of cherished memories. It was Lily's childhood, a place woven with laughter and comfort. As mid-morning approached, Mr. Thompson walked in, his usual spark dimmed by concern. "Have you heard about the meeting at the town hall?" he asked as he leaned against the counter. "They're talking about the corporate takeover. People are worried, Mia. Some are even saying we should just give in. It's safer." Safer? Mia echoed, disbelief sharpening her tone. What about the history? What about the dreams this place has nurtured? There's a lot of fear out there, he replied, his voice lower. But I believe in this bakery and so do others. We can't let fear take flight. Finding strength in his words, she nodded, determination blossoming within. I need to organize a community meeting. Tomorrow night, here. We'll remind everyone of what this bakery means to them. We'll fight for this legacy together. Count me in, Mr. Thompson replied, a flicker of hope igniting in his eyes. With renewed vigor, Mia spent the rest of the day preparing for the meeting. She pulled chairs together, dusted off old photos that showcased the bakery's milestones, and crafted a simple flyer announcing the gathering. She handed them out to anyone who came in, her heart racing each time she saw someone read, frown, or hesitate. As darkness fell, the bakery was aglow with warm light. Neighbors began to trickle in, casting worried glances, simultaneously intrigued to know what Mia had planned. The small space grew tight with anxious energies, yet Mia felt the pulse of their community, strong beneath the surface. Thank you for coming tonight, she began, her voice ringing with conviction. I know many of you are worried about what's happening. But we cannot forget what this place truly represents. She paused, taking a deep breath. Our bakery is a symbol of dreams, heart, and community. When we stand together, we're unstoppable. As she spoke, memories flooded the room as others joined in, sharing their favorite moments, laughter bouncing off the walls. It became clear that the bakery was a fabric woven together by countless lives, supporting each other through hard times, celebrating successes with sweet treats, and building a foundation of love. But just when everything felt like it was coming together, Mia's phone buzzed violently against the counter. It was a text from an unknown number, one that made her heart drop into her stomach. Tonight might be too late. They're making their move, be prepared. With a mix of fear and determination swirling inside her, Mia turned back to the crowd. We need to be ready for anything. The room grew quiet. She could see the worry etched in their faces, yet she also felt the strength in their unity. But was it enough to save what they cherished? As the candlelight flickered, bringing warmth to the gathering, Mia realized that the fight was only beginning, and they would need every ounce of courage they had to overcome the darkness ahead. Would they embrace the challenge and stand firm against the impending storm? The silence hung heavy in the air, filled with unspoken fears and a flickering hope. Mia took a moment to scan the crowd, each face familiar yet strained. The candlelight cast gentle shadows on the walls, illuminating the path of shared history and collective resolve. She inhaled deeply, her heart racing, determined to steer the course of their fate. One by one, the townsfolk began to speak up, their voices shaky but resolute. Mrs. Anderson, the elderly woman who had been visiting the bakery since it first opened, stood up with a trembling hand clutching her cane. This bakery has been my solace, she said, her frail voice cutting through the tension. It's where I met my late husband. Without it, I don't know what I would do. Mia's heart tightened. Each testimony was a reminder of the lives intertwined with this small building, each one feeding into the spirit of the bakery. She felt the passion rising in the room as more voices joined in. Mr. Jenkins spoke of his son's first birthday celebrated with Mia's cupcakes, while the teenagers recalled late-night study sessions fueled by coffee and donuts. As the stories poured out, Mia could see a shift. The air seemed warmer, the fears beginning to melt away, replaced with a shared sense of purpose. They were in this together, ready to fight for the legacy that had shaped their community. Just as the energy started to swell into something tangible, the door swung open violently, and a chilling gust swept through the room. A tall man in a suit stepped inside, his shadow looming large against the warm glow of the bakery. Mia's heart dropped as he approached, a grim expression on his face. It was Gary, the representative from the corporate firm intent on taking over. Mia, he said sharply, I think it's time we had a real discussion about what's to come. You need to realize that fighting is futile. We're only looking to improve this town. Improve? Mia shot back, her voice steady despite the tremor within her. You're looking to take everything that means something to us. This bakery isn't just a business, it's a home. Gary crossed his arms, unfazed. You think nostalgia will save you? The reality is, we can offer jobs and modernization. This place can't survive on memories. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Fear mingled with anger, and Mia sensed the uncertainty creeping back in. But it was then that Lily, who had been quietly watching, stood up and pulled on her mother's apron. "Mommy," she said, her tiny voice ringing out, "can't we tell him how much this place means? We have fun here." The heartwarming innocence of her daughter's words melted the tension. Mia felt a surge of pride and resolve wash over her. "Yes, Lily," she exclaimed, turning back to the crowd. "This is about more than just us. It's about everything we love, the memories, the laughter, the community. We can't let that go." Encouraged by Mia's passion, the townsfolk began standing taller, voices rallying around the idea of preserving their home. The sound of support echoed in the bakery as they turned their attention toward Gary, their collective spirit ignited. "Let us show him just how unbreakable we are," Mia shouted, and her words hung in the air like an anthem of defiance. With the familiar flickering of hope returning, Mia looked into the eyes of her neighbors and felt their hearts beating in sync, a chorus of resilience. But in the back of her mind, a question gnawed at her: could unity fight against corporate might? As the evening wore on, planning took shape. They charted strategies and drafted messages for the town hall meeting, a single goal shining like a beacon before them. Just then, Mia's phone buzzed again. With trepidation, she glanced at the screen. This time, it was a news alert: local bakery faces shutdown, corporate rivalry heats up. She felt a chill down her spine. They had to move fast to rally the entire town. Time was no longer on their side. Was it too late to save what they held dear, or could they make their voices heard before it was gone? The fight for their bakery had only just begun. Mia's heart raced as she processed the news alert on her phone. Local bakery faces shut down. The words echoed in her mind like a haunting refrain. The warmth of her community, the flickering candlelight, no longer felt like a protective barrier. They were moments away from being snuffed out. "Everyone, we need to act now." Mia's voice rang out, steady despite the dread flooding her system. The townsfolk, inspired by the strength of their shared memories, turned their focus back to her. She could see determination rooted in their faces, a collective resolve born from years of laughter, tears, and friendship. "Let us organize a rally," Mr. Jenkins suggested, his brow furrowed in thought. "We can gather all the townspeople. We have to show them we're not just going to stand by." "Exactly," Mia replied, nodding emphatically. "We'll create posters, spread the word through social media, and reach out to the local news." A wave of energy surged through the group. Ideas began to flow as everyone chimed in, fueled by the urgency of the moment. Lily, still holding on to Mia's apron, tugged at it gently. "Can I help too?" she asked, her eyes shining with eagerness. The innocence of her question brought a chuckle from the group, breaking the heaviness in the air momentarily. "Of course, sweet girl." Mia knelt to Lily's height. "You can help us make the best posters this town has ever seen." A smile broke across the child's face, and Mia felt her own heart lighten. As the details of the rally began to take shape, Mia couldn't shake the undercurrent of fear. What if they failed? What if Gary's firm had already made up its mind? Every watt of clawed at her resolve. That night, they worked late into the evening, brainstorming, crafting messages, and pouring everything they had into their cause. The walls of the bakery buzzed with energy. Laughter mingled with urgency as they transformed the space into a war room of sorts. "Remember to add your favorite stories. People will connect with the memories," Mia encouraged as they spread colorful markers across the tables. Hours later, with tired eyes and hopeful hearts, they finally stepped back to glance at the result of their hard work: a slew of vibrant posters covered in heartfelt messages, memories, and community logos. Each one a testament to what the bakery represented. As they packed up to leave, Mia caught Gary's silhouette lurking across the street. He stood there, watching with crossed arms, his expression cold as concrete. For a fleeting moment, doubt crept back into her heart. Did he see them as a threat or as a nuisance? Someone nudged her shoulder. It was Mrs. Anderson. Don't let him intimidate you, dear. He may have power, but we have heart. The warmth of her words wrapped around Mia like a comforting blanket. Mrs. Anderson's unwavering faith reignited the fire within her. Thank you, Mia whispered, renewed determination coursing through her veins. Tomorrow, we show him what we're made of. As they prepared to head home, the streetlights flickered to life, illuminating their small town in a warm glow. Each flicker seemed to whisper a promise, a reminder of all they had to fight for, but just as they turned towards their homes, Mia's phone buzzed once more. Another news alert. She hesitated for a moment, her heart pounding in her chest. With a deep breath, she opened it. Mysterious corporate investor threatens town tradition. Her stomach dropped. This was bigger than they'd imagined. What was this corporation truly after, and how would they wage this fight against such a faceless giant? Mia took a step back, her resolve solidifying. This was just the beginning of a battle that would demand everything she had, every ounce of courage, every heartwarming story, and every rallying cry. With the rally ahead and new challenges emerging, the question loomed, would the heart of the town prevail against the cold, calculating force of corporate greed? The following morning, the sunlight streamed through Mia's kitchen window, casting a golden glow over the countertops crowded with flour, sugar, and eggs. She had always loved baking. It was a form of therapy, a way to channel her feelings into something tangible. But today felt different. A sense of urgency weighed heavily on her as she prepared the day's rally snacks, each treat representing hope, resilience, and community. As flour dusted her apron, Mia's mind wandered back to the text from last night. Mysterious investors, it didn't make sense. Why would anyone want to uproot the traditions that tied the town together? She thought of the stories shared over countless loaves of bread, the laughter echoing within the bakery walls. It felt sacrilege to think of it all being replaced with something manufactured and sterile. The rally was set to begin at noon, and Mia's phone rang, snapping her back to the present. It was Mr. Jenkins. Hey, Mia. Are you on track for today? He asked, his voice tinged with both excitement and concern. Almost ready. Just finishing up a few things. How many people do you think will come? Fingers crossed, but it should be a good turnout. I've been spreading the word everywhere. The bakery is the heart of this town, people care. Her heart soared at his words, but a flicker of doubt remained. Could they really convince a corporation to back off, to give back the bakery its rightful place? Okay, I'll meet you there. And don't worry. We've got this, Mia replied, her shaky confidence sounding like a rallying cry of its own. Just before noon, the square buzzed with energy, bursting with voices and laughter. Townsfolk gathered, their faces alive with excitement, their banners waving like flags of defiance against the looming threat. Mia's chest tightened with pride when she saw Lily holding a crayon-crafted sign that read, "Save our bakery." Mia stepped onto a makeshift podium, a wooden crate, and looked out at the sea of familiar faces. Thank you all for coming. She called, the courage and determination bubbling up from deep inside her. Today, we stand together not just for a bakery, but for our community, for every shared moment and memory created within these walls. The crowd erupted into cheers, and Mia felt the warmth wash over her, nurturing the fire bursting within. But as her heart raced with excitement, she noticed a tense figure at the back, Gary. He stood there, arms crossed, an air of smug confidence surrounding him. You may have your rally, Mia, he shouted, his voice cutting through the crowd, but money talks. Unlike these memories, numbers don't lie. We have bigger plans for this town than your little bakery. Silence washed over the crowd, and Mia's heart sank. This was what they were up against? Corporate greed draped in a pretty facade. But she wouldn't allow fear to silence her. Those numbers may look impressive, Gary, she said, steadying her voice, but they won't show the heart and soul our town possesses. It's about more than just profits, it's about community, love, and history. You can't put a price on that. The words hung in the air, and she felt the crowd lean in. They were with her. In a flash, a reporter approached with a camera, capturing every moment, the tension, the anticipation, the fire in her eyes. The powerful connection in that space felt electric. As the rally continued with speeches, stories, and promises of unity, a new alert buzzed within Mia's pocket. She hesitated, weary but curious. What more could this day bring? As she pulled out her phone, the headline screamed, "Recipes for Community, Local Bakeries Fight Gains Media Attention." Mia's heart skipped a beat. They were capturing attention, and maybe, just maybe, this was the spark that could ignite change. But in the back of her mind, a troubling thought surfaced. Would it be enough? What if the corporation struck back stronger than ever before? The clock was ticking, and Mia felt the weight of her town on her shoulders. Would their passion hold against such corporate might? And as she looked back at the crowd, she realized this battle was far from over. Mia took a deep breath and scanned the crowd again. The faces reflected hope and determination, but one voice lingered in her mind: Gary's taunt. What if he was right? As the afternoon sun beat down, she felt a wave of uncertainty wash over her. "Let us keep this momentum going," she shouted, trying to infuse her voice with enthusiasm. "This isn't just about our bakery, it's about standing up for what our town represents. Together, we can protect our history and our future." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the group, and Mia felt a renewed sense of vigor. People held hands, joined together like the very ingredients of her dough, each one vital to the whole. But just as she began to feel the strength of that bond, a familiar face appeared on the fringes: Margaret, an older woman whose bakery stories had always filled the shop with warmth. Yet, today, her eyes reflected worry. "Mia," Margaret approached, voice barely above a whisper. "What if it's not enough? Those investors, they have deep pockets. They can outlast us." Mia's heart sank at the thought. Was their spirit really no match against corporate power? She pushed aside the dark cloud looming in her thoughts. "We have to believe that our story matters, Margaret. The heart of this town is worth fighting for. It's about love for our community and the places that have fed our souls." Margaret smiled faintly, but the worry remained etched in her brow. The rally surged forward, filled with other voices, a mix of laughter and hope, interrupted by reminders of what stood to be lost. As more speakers took the podium, Mia found herself lost in the rhythm of their words. Stories flowed like the scent of her fresh-baked bread. They spoke of childhood days spent in the bakery, of secrets shared over cookies, of comfort found in shared struggles. The stories wrapped around her like a warm blanket, reigniting her resolve. Then, out of nowhere, a familiar voice interrupted. "You can't keep fighting against progress, Mia. It was just announced that the corporation plans to host a public meeting next week," Gary shouted from the sidelines. "Are you ready to face the reality of change? Because you'll certainly lose." Stunned silence washed over the crowd. Mia felt the weight of every gaze on her. "We won back down," she finally said, trying to match the steady steel of her voice with the determination in her heart. "We will gather our stories and share them. We will show them the value of our community." As she spoke those words, a wave of hope spread through the crowd like a spark igniting a fire. They began to chant, voices rising, "Save our bakery! Save our bakery!" It was infectious, lifting their spirits high as they united in a battle cry for what they believed in. But even as Mia felt the surge of support, a nagging seed of doubt took root in her mind. The meeting would be their aftershock moment. What could they say? How could they convince when faced with numbers, profit margins, and business agendas? "Focus on our story, Mia," she thought, almost pleading with herself. "That's what matters." Then across the swarm of faces, she spotted Lily again, holding her crayon sign proudly. The child's optimism became a beacon in the storm of uncertainty. The rally felt electric, but Mia realized that this was just the beginning. The real challenge lay ahead. The crowd's energy began to fade as the sun dipped low in the sky, casting long shadows across the square. Taking a moment to collect herself, Mia knew she had work to do. They needed to mobilize their community in a way that would shake the foundation of that looming corporate proposal. As the last chant faded, a message pinged on Mia's phone, an anonymous tip about the investors involved in the corporation. Her fingers trembled as she opened it, heart pounding. What secrets could they uncover? She felt the buzzing anticipation pull her toward the fight ahead. Whatever those secrets were, it might be exactly what they needed, and as she turned to rally her town, Mia couldn't shake the feeling this battle was about to shift in an unexpected direction. Would they be ready for what was to come? Mia took a moment to savor the adrenaline and uncertainty swirling within her. The hum of the crowd began to quiet, as many turned back toward their daily lives. But in that lingering moment of possibility, she felt a new sense of purpose. She gathered her thoughts, imagining the messages in the tip on her phone. What if the information could galvanize the community? All right, everyone, Mia called, her voice finding strength once more. I know we can't just stand here. We can't let doubt overshadow all we have built. Her words sparked a flicker of renewed energy among the remaining townsfolk. Margaret stepped up beside her, her earlier worry softened by a determined resolve. Mia, let us weave those stories into something powerful, a pamphlet, a video, maybe even a podcast? We can gather stories from everyone, she suggested. Exactly. We need to show them this isn't just a business. It's about family recipes, traditions, and community. Each person has a unique story that matters. The crowd perked up, nodding and murmuring with excitement. Hope started to glimmer in the air like the last rays of sunlight streaming through the trees. Lily bounced on her toes. What about my sign? Can we add stories to it? Mia crouched to meet Lily's eager gaze. That's a great idea. We can add all our favorite memories of the bakery, the memories that made it special. A wave of ideas swelled among the townsfolk, voices rising and intertwining as people began to brainstorm together. They shared tales of birthday celebrations, surprise pastries, and even the comfort of a warm loaf on a rainy day. Each memory was a thread weaving a tapestry of community spirit. As they collaborated, Mia felt the sense of urgency return. The meeting loomed next week like a dark cloud, but now a small ray of hope pierced through. We can meet every night until then, Mia declared. We'll collect these stories and create something that touches hearts. If we can make even a few people feel what we feel, we can win. People clapped and cheered, echoing her enthusiasm. They formed plans to gather at the bakery each evening, equipped with notebooks, cameras, and anything that could help tell their stories. It was an act of togetherness, a solidarity that filled Mia's heart with warmth, but as excitement surged, Mia's apprehension lingered, like a raindrop frozen just before it struck the ground. What if they did everything right, and it still wasn't enough? That thought twisted tightly in her stomach until she recalled the faces in the crowd, the richness of their stories, the laughter, the love. Those felt bigger than any corporate machine out there, didn't they? Surely, their passion could shine through the darkness. As the assembly began to disperse, Mia lingered, surrounded by her neighbors. She announced, we need something to unify us. A slogan, maybe? Something we can all chant together. Save our bakery. Came a chorus of voices, but Mia could sense they needed something deeper, something that matched their shared heart. We'll brainstorm tomorrow, she said, excitement and nervousness twinkling in her voice. But let us light the spark and keep the fire of our unity burning. With that promise hanging in the air, Mia departed, holding tightly to the hope that if they could echo the heart of their community, maybe they stood a chance against the looming threat of corporate greed. All that evening, she researched, piecing together information about the investors, searching for the hidden truths mentioned in the anonymous tip. The stakes were rising, and so was her determination. That night, while everyone else slept, Mia scrolled through the details on her screen. Something caught her eye, a connection she hadn't expected. Mia's heart raced as she leaned closer to the screen. This changes everything, she whispered to herself, breath catching in her throat. Someone in the corporation had ties to their town. What did that mean for their fight? With the dawn just a whisper away, a new thought dawned on her. Could they turn this connection to their advantage? As the shadows stretched in the early light, Mia knew they were entering uncharted territory. The battle for their bakery was about to get personal. Would it lead to salvation, or might it complicate things in ways she couldn't yet grasp? Mia woke early, the sunlight filtering through her window, but she hardly noticed. Her mind was consumed by that surprising revelation. She sat up in bed, the sheets tangled around her, heart pounding as she recalled the connection to the corporation. What if that link was the key to sparking support and altering their fight? As she prepared for the day, she imagined various ways to present the information. Would she share it with Margaret first? Or wait to organize her thoughts before gathering the whole community? The idea fluttered like a bird in her chest, both exhilarating and intimidating. At breakfast, Mia's mother, Olivia, noticed her daughter's distracted demeanor. "Mia, honey, what's on your mind?" she asked, pouring orange juice into a glass, the sound of liquid splashing almost drowned by Mia's racing thoughts. "Just about the bakery. We have a meeting later, and I think I found something big," she replied, her voice trembling slightly under the weight of her secret. "Something big, huh?" Olivia raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "You know, you have your father's determination. Sometimes, you just need to trust it." Mia glanced down, her plate of pancakes suddenly taking on a life of its own. Her mother's faith made her feel warm, yet the fear of failure gnawed at her insides. "I hope I'm enough." "You're more than enough," Olivia promised, reaching across the table to squeeze Mia's hand. "Remember, it's about the community. You're not alone in this." With those comforting words trailing in her mind, Mia headed to the bakery later that evening, her heart racing. The moment she entered, she was met with the laughter of neighbors, the familiar scent of fresh bread and pastries wrapping around her like a warm hug. Margaret was there, pacing with notebooks scattered around the table. "Mia! You're here." She rushed over, her excitement palpable. "I was just organizing everyone's stories. It feels so alive, like we're all part of something bigger." "Exactly how I feel. But I have something else," Mia said, her voice lowering. "I found a connection between the corporation and our town. This could change everything for us." A silence fell over the gathering, the noise fading as everyone turned to Mia, their eyes wide with anticipation. "What do you mean?" someone asked. "It means we might have leverage. If we can make this personal, we could fight back," Mia explained, her pulse quickening with every word. Margaret's eyes sparkled. "That's brilliant. If we can rally the community around this connection, we might sway public opinion. It could bring in support we never dreamed of." Mia nodded, feeling a surge of hope. "But we need to be careful. We can't just send out information without knowing how to use it. We need a plan." The group began throwing around ideas excitedly, a flurry of voices rising and overlapping. They talked about gathering details to construct a narrative that highlighted how the corporation's actions affected their town. They needed everyone to see this fight wasn't just about a bakery, it was about saving their community, their home. Lily wandered in, holding her sign with a proud smile. "Are we saving the bakery?" she asked. Mia knelt beside her. "Yes, Lily. We are." Then, glancing around at her neighbors, Mia spoke with a newfound fierceness. "This journey isn't just ours. It's all of ours, our stories, our memories, our future. We have to stand united." Loud cheers erupted. The atmosphere filled with excitement, and for the first time, Mia felt solid ground beneath their feet. Maybe they were finally on the right path, but as she tucked that bit of information away with the anticipation of rallying the community, a seed of doubt whispered in the back of her mind. Could they truly harness this connection? Was it enough to face the looming corporate giant? As the night wore on, questions hung in the air like dew. Mia could barely sleep as she mulled over the myriad paths they could take, heart racing with anticipation. Tomorrow would be crucial. Would they embody the strength of every story they shared, or would the corporation's might outweigh their voices? As she closed her eyes, one thought kept circling: would their fight lead to their bakery's salvation, or place them in even greater peril than before? The answer felt closer yet so far away. The dawn was barely breaking when Mia's phone buzzed on her nightstand, jarring her from a restless sleep. She blinked at the screen, heart racing as she saw a text from Margaret. "We need to meet ASAP. I have some leads," it said. Without hesitation, Mia sprang from her bed. The urgency of Margaret's message set her nerves alight, a fresh determination ignited within her. She slipped into some comfortable clothes, making sure to grab her notes and a pen on the way out. When she arrived at the bakery, the golden light of the morning spilled through the front windows, showcasing the flour dust floating in the air. She found Margaret already there, pacing again, but this time holding a few pieces of paper and a marker. "Mia. Look!" Margaret exclaimed, her eyes shining with excitement as she gestured towards the table. Mia rushed over, curiosity bubbling. The sheets were filled with sketches and snippets from newspaper articles revealing the corporation's previous dealing scandals swept under the rug, local communities crushed beneath their will. "See this?" Margaret pointed excitedly. "This is all about public opinion. If we can leverage these stories, we might grab attention outside our town." Mia's heart swelled with hope at the sheer tenacity of their combined efforts. "This could really work," she breathed, running her fingers over the documents. "We can show them that they can't just ignore us." Margaret nodded vigorously, a grin spreading across her face. "And it's not just us, everyone has stories to share. We can create a timeline of the town, showing how we've been affected year after year." Mia couldn't believe how the pieces were starting to come together. "Let us gather everyone's stories. What if we make a presentation? We can invite local media, get them involved." As they brainstormed, the other neighbors began trickling in, slices of enthusiasm filling the room. Each person they called brought new energy and ideas. Laughter mingled with serious discussions as they collaborated on the best ways to highlight their community's resilience, but beneath the chatter, a heavy unease lingered in Mia's heart. Every rallying cry came with a shadow of worry. What if the corporation retaliated with force? What if they silenced them? Just then, Luke walked in, his presence commanding the room's attention. "What's the plan?" he asked, a hint of determination in his voice. Mia straightened up, the weight of hope balancing against her fears. "We're gathering stories, building a case," she said firmly. "Together, we can make them listen." "Let us do it," he replied, nodding as he took a seat to join the discussion. Mia felt a comfort in his support, a silent promise that they were in this together. As the meeting wore on, they mapped out everything they would need. Social media campaigns, interviews, photographs, everything came into focus. The sense of solidarity grew palpable, drawing them closer, but moments later, just as enthusiasm peaked, a loud crash interrupted. The door swung open, and in marched a group of men in suits, their faces impassive. Mia's heart dropped. They were here for them. It was happening. "Is this a gathering against us?" one of the men asked coldly, eyes narrowing. The room fell silent. It felt like time froze, air tense and thick, Mia's palms clammy. She prepared to speak but felt lost for words. What could she say that would protect them? Would their courage be enough to withstand this new challenge, or had they just unwittingly stepped into a storm they weren't ready for? The answer hung in the air like a cloud, waiting to break. Mia's heart raced as she stared into the eyes of the corporate men who had just disrupted their meeting. An icy silence wrapped around her, thick with uncertainty and fear. But then, just as she felt her courage wavering, she caught sight of Lily at the back of the room, her innocent smile lighting up the somber atmosphere. It reminded Mia of why they were fighting. "Listen up." Mia stepped forward, her voice trembling but steady. "This isn't just a gathering, it's a community standing up for what we believe in. We will not back down." The power of her words resonated, cutting through the tension. She felt the unison of her neighbors behind her, their voices softly harmonizing with her own determination. One of the corporate men, a taller one with a slicked-back hairstyle, crossed his arms. "You really think nostalgia can save you? Memories won't pay the bills. We're here to improve the town, not tear it down." "Improve?" Mia managed to return his glare. "You mean take away what makes our town unique and replace it with soulless buildings? This bakery has been more than a business, It's our home, a nurturing ground for dreams, and it feeds our spirits as much as it feeds our bodies. Around the room, a ripple of murmured agreement echoed through the crowd. Mia's neighbors stepped closer, emboldened by her bravery. Faces taut with fear now glowed with renewed passion. Suddenly, Margaret piped up. "We're not just fighting for pastry and bread, we're showing the impact your decisions have on our lives." For years, this bakery has been a safe space for generations, a place where friendships were forged and community bonds strengthened. The corporate men exchanged glances, their confidence faltering under the weight of the truth being unleashed. "Everyone here has a story," Mia continued, feeling the tide turning. "Our roots run deeper than your bottom line. We're woven together, and that's something you can't simply bulldoze over. You're playing with lives, not numbers." With that, the murmurs grew into a passionate roar. They began sharing their tales, the young adult whose first job was at Mia's bakery, the elderly couple who had celebrated every anniversary there. As one voice followed another, the air filled with an electric charge that crackled with unity. The corporate men exchanged nervous glances, the steely exterior they had put forth cracking under the force of the community's love and resolve. Mia felt the shift, the solidarity shaping like the dough in her bakery, molding and proving its strength. Then, Gary, the slick representative, stepped forward. "This isn't over," he warned, though a tremor betrayed his bravado. Mia stepped closer, her courage swelling. "No, it isn't. This is just the beginning. We have stories, unity, and heart behind us. We're not asking for your approval anymore, we're reclaiming our legacy." The crowd erupted in applause, dispelling the fog of intimidation that had threatened to smother them. In that moment, Mia saw Lily again, beaming with pride, her homemade sign soaring high. They handed them a glimpse of what they were up against, and suddenly, the corporate presence felt small, insignificant even. Over the next few days, the community worked tirelessly. They rallied together, sharing stories on social media, gathering signatures, and contacting local news outlets. Mia pushed forward with the information she had discovered about the corporation. They used it to shine a light on the threat that loomed not just over the bakery, but the entire community. The public meeting came, and the entire town showed up, neighbors, families, even those who had been quiet in the past. They stood shoulder to shoulder in solidarity, unyielding and proud. The energy in the room buzzed with anticipation as Mia stepped up to the podium, her heart echoing the drum of hope. "Today isn't just about saving a bakery," Mia began, taking a deep breath. "It's about preserving who we are as a town, our history, and the love we share." As she spoke, the flickers of emotion built into a crescendo. Stories exploded like fireworks, filling the room with color, character, and life. Each tale resonated with the crowd, blending into a chorus of courage. Soon, the corporate representatives, faced with the swell of community spirit, looked overwhelmed. Eventually, as the meeting wrap-up came, one of the representatives stood open-mouthed, stunned by the unexpected unity and strength displayed. I see now. Yes, that's right," interrupted an attendee, a former teacher who had baked countless batches of cookies for school events. "You're playing with the very essence of what keeps us together." As the evening drew to a close, a reporter approached Mia. "Do you believe you've made your point?" A radiant smile broke across Mia's face. "Absolutely. We showed our heart today. And I believe that's a force they can't ignore." In the days that followed, petitions turned into formal inquiries, and the corporation felt the weight of public opinion pressing down on them. The news traveled far and wide, reaching beyond Maplewood and creating waves of awareness around corporate bullying. Then came the email. A patchwork of thoughts, figures, and sentiments overwhelming Mia's screen. The corporation agreed to negotiate, acknowledging the backlash and implications of what their actions could yield. Victory erupted within Mia as joy washed over her. They had shifted the tide. Standing in the bakery that had become a symbol for hope, Mia turned to her community. "Together, we did this. Together, we can accomplish anything." Cheers erupted, ringing through the walls that had held countless stories. Mia felt the weight lifted off her shoulders. She ran to her daughter, wrapping her in an embrace. "You did it, Mommy!" Lily exclaimed, face glowing. "No, my love, we did it. And we'll always keep doing it together, no matter what." In the cozy, sunlit bakery, with abounding laughter and love surrounding them, Mia knew that the journey had not only changed the fate of her business but helped revive the beating heart of the community. They weren't just people sharing space, they had become a family, bound together by their love, unified in their dreams. And from that moment on, the bakery would keep thriving, not just as a place for baked goods but as a sanctuary where dreams took flight once again. Now, the world has witnessed the incredible journey of Mia's bakery. It all started with forgotten wings, but together they rediscovered their power. This is the moment for change. Let us always fight for what we believe in. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.